Miller's In the Mood did not top the charts until 1940, and 1 year later was featured in the movie Sun Valley Serenade. Between 1939 and 1942, Glenn Miller and his orchestra enjoyed huge popularity and worldwide success. The Glenn Miller Orchestra recorded 17 top 10 hits in 1939, 31 in 1940, and 11 each in 1941. The Glenn Miller Orchestra played swing music with some jazz soul to it. He often played for the military and did serve as a captain in the Army Special Ops during World War II. Miller really modernized Army bands during this time. He continued to do tours and practice during wartime. Well, there you have it. There was some history on Glenn Miller, and now we're going to move on to the real story. So, Toddy, tell me about the first time that you met Tate.
My friend asked me if I would go on a blind date with her. And I said no. And then she said she was very insistent about it. So I made a date going to a dance at Jansen Beach. And Glenn Miller was playing. When they came to pick me up, she was with a young man that had come into our engineer office, and I had noticed him, but he was her date, and mine was his buddy. And one of the popular songs of the day was Glenn Miller, In the Mood. And my date would dance until it paused, and then he'd come back and sit me down, and then he'd grab me up and we'd dance again until it paused, and that was the song In the Mood.
What do you remember listening to when you were a kid, Dad?
Well, in the family, it was Glenn Miller, like you interviewed my mother, and like a lot of Southern music, because my dad was from Tennessee, and he did a lot of soul music, a lot of Southern, a lot of Western. You know, that's what it's kind of Southern Baptist type stuff. They did a lot of like loud. You know, it was pretty good stuff. He sang a little bit, not a lot, but he played the guitar and the harp. You know, and that was what he did.
But wait, you said the harp was not actually a harp.
Yeah, but that's what my dad called it, and
So
it's
what was
basically a
it?
harmonica. But
Okay.
he always called it the harp. That's what he always called it.
So what do you think was different about you growing up and me growing up in like music?
Well, the difference was that my parents didn't like rock and roll, and that's what I liked, and we all just liked it. My oldest sister was 10 years older than me. Of course, she grew up with Elvis, and I liked more of the rock and roll, but 10 years of her younger. So when she was 16 listening to Elvis, I didn't like Elvis, so I found my own stuff, and it was more like the Stones or, you know, Blind Faith or Cream, and those kind of bands is what I liked. And so, but my parents didn't like that music, and that's the difference between my era and your era, because you like the old music that I grew up with that I still listen to.
Very true. What live music do you remember hearing when you were a kid, Dad?
Was this lady named Alta would come over with her husband Johnny, and they would play. She would sing, and my dad would play the harp, and then I'd play the guitar. And she had a real loud, kind of a robust voice, and we were the only kind of three or four that would sing. My mom didn't sing.
What started out as a music study ended up a story about love, wartime, and growing up.